I'm going to go ahead and put on my apron. If y'all have been around for any length of time, you know that for the second half of the chat, we get a drink of water, and then I change into my apron, and I really need to get my other apron washed so that I can bring it back over here. But I made something that was dark colored. Hello, Sylvia. I made something that was dark colored in the other one and got a little bit of stain on my white apron. So we've been switching to the black one here lately. But this is the second half of chat number 328. I've already made what the fun thing is. I'm just going to be telling you about it, and then we will be enjoying it here in a few minutes. If you have not already said hello, like Sylvia has just popped in, so everybody say hello to Sylvia. It is so very good to see you, and I'm assuming that baseball, whatever season, is like on a hiatus right now or something. She's got lots of very busy grandchildren, and she is a very busy grandma. But yeah, what was I going to say? Or if you're watching this on YouTube, it's just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. If you ever need to go back and watch any of these, thank you, Sylvia, and it's true, I am the queen of everything. If you ever need to go back and watch these, if you need to go back and see these, check them out, see what I did, whatever, it's always on YouTube, and it's always on YouTube first, and it's usually a couple of days after the chat. And again, you just go to YouTube, and then in the search bar, type in If You Have an Egg, and it should take you to my playlist, and there are over 328 videos. So if you've got a long, boring car ride to Fredericksburg, Virginia, or if you're driving to North Dakota or whatever, you know, plug in your earphones and you're good to go. So for the second half, y'all know how much I have been loving playing with and not actually making anything that I could eat. How much, and softball was yesterday. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Sylvia's granddaughter was nominated for All-State? What? Wow. That's because she's had grandma there cheering her on this whole time. That is awesome. Tell her we say congratulations. But y'all know how much I've been loving playing with the Instant Pot or doing an Instant Pot versus air fryer, challenges without actually making any food that I could eat. So, what did we talk about? What was the first thing that we talked about in tonight's chat? And we're actually right on time, so I'm going to give you all, while I get another sip of water, I'm going to give you all just a minute to think about that. So what was the very first thing that we talked about in tonight's chat? Other than Josh not coming to finish the kitchen. Does anybody remember? What did we talk about? I'm going to give you all just another second. We talked about Dusty being nervous. That was not it, even though he is. And one of my friends says he can't relax, which is very good. Okay, Sherry, we were talking about stress. Mary, we were talking about love languages. It was a little bit before that. It was the very first thing we were talking about. I'll let one more person answer, and then I'm going to start talking. Deanna should be able to answer this if she's still here. Or if Julie has popped in, Julie should know what we were talking about. Anybody? Okay, what we were talking about in the beginning is we had several girls. Oh, Debbie says no power to the appliances to cook. That was pretty high on the list, but Lynn is exactly right. We were talking about weight stalling, plateaus, things like that. And one of the things that I mentioned that works for me, and remember I said everybody's different, but one of the things that I said works for me, if my weight's kind of stalled out, or if I feel like I'm yo-yoing, if I feel like I'm just going up and down and up and down and up and down, one of the things that I said is I need to step back and evaluate what am I eating, what time, when am I eating it, and how much protein am I getting. So protein for me, yep, Marianne, that's exactly right. So protein for me is extremely important, and having more for breakfast and a little bit less for dinner, also very important for me. That might not be a factor for you, but it's very important for me. So I actually made things in the Instant Pot this week. Lily and I we took all of our kind of overabundance of tomatoes, and we made tomato sauce and froze it. We're not talking about tomato sauce, but I actually made something to help me with these breakfasts, and we're going to talk about how that, yeah, Sandra's right, eat a lot of protein. That works for me almost every time. That helps me every time. So what we're going to talk about tonight, though, is I needed something here in the showroom. So hopefully Josh is going to get this microwave hooked up yesterday. It was not hooked up yesterday, or get it hooked up tomorrow. It was not hooked up yesterday and today, which kind of put a damper on what I was going to eat yesterday and today, but it's okay. I have spent the last day or two prepping some things that I can eat now. I can put them in the refrigerator or I can put them in the freezer. And I bought some gallon size, I should have brought those over here to show you all. I bought some gallon size reusable zippered bags to put this in. Yeah, and Debbie says eat more protein and add healthy fats. That's a great one. Let's see. Sylvia says I've started drinking bone broth to add protein for a snack. You just drink it? Sandra says eat a lot of protein. Yeah. Wow, bone broth. Okay, you have to explain the bone broth thing. Okay, so what I made though, and I've been testing this, is those little egg bites from Starbucks. So who has ever had the little egg bites from Starbucks? Show of hands. So this is a participation. Oh, Mindy says protein plus produce. The 3 P's, PPP, protein plus produce. Okay, so somebody just sent up some thumbs ups. So they've obviously had the the egg bites from Starbucks. So, and Sherry has, Sylvia says it has 20 grams of protein in 1 cup. Wow. What are some things that you can make out of it? Because I don't think I could just drink bone broth. I don't know. Never tried it. Sylvia has tried the egg bites. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that many of you have, because it is one of the more, yeah, and Sandra says they look like little donuts. So, and Debbie just had a great idea for using the bone broth. Okay, so I decided to test, I've decided to test making the little egg cups in the Instant Pot. So I want to tell you all a couple of things though. So first we're going to go over some statistics, and we have plenty of time. Okay, first I'm going to go over some statistics. So I did some testing and some results. Oh, Carol Lou made a bunch of her own egg bites for breakfast this week. Perfect. And Debbie says, yes, egg bites. Okay, so I have finished 2 different types for tonight, just to show you all how they turned out differently. But first of all, I wanted to tell you about some testing that I did. So since I did not do a air fryer versus Instant Pot, or an oven versus Instant Pot, or an any other appliance versus Instant Pot, I'm just going to tell you about the test that I did with the Instant Pot. First of all, my goal this week was to do a test with the Instant Pot and actually have food to show for it, like actually have something to eat, not just a little something to nibble on. Did accomplish that. And like I said, I got the freezer zippered bags, gallon size, reusable ones, to be able to have them in the freezer here at work. Okay, first thing I found was that the price of those are about $5 for 2 of them at Starbucks in Knoxville. Thoughts? How much are they where you are? So here in Knoxville, and different areas in Knoxville that they have different pricing. I don't know if Starbucks is franchised or what, or they get to pick what their pricing is and what their menu is different places. But I found that they were about $5 for 2 of the egg bites here in Knoxville. How much have y'all seen them for? And I will tell you mine so far, and I'm still tweaking this. Mine so far average out to be $1 for 2. Oh, and Lynn made mini egg bites for her son's breakfast. Hold on. Okay, Debbie's asking about the reusable zippered bags, so hold on. I'm going to go grab them. Desi's going to follow me, so it's going to be a little noisy. Hold on just a second. I promise I will be right back. For Debbie and everyone else who's wondering, I got these on Amazon, and the brand this is an L, so it's Lorraine. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's Lerine, and they are committed to protecting the world's oceans, waves, and beaches. It's an non-governmental organization. Oh, an non-governmental organization will benefit from this purchase. They are airtight, leak-proof, eco-friendly, double-sealed, keep food fresh, food-grade material, home organization assistance, blah, 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 blah. They're also recyclable. So I like the fact that they were reusable, and they're double, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but they're double sealed. Okay, we'll talk about these another day, but Debbie, I got them on Amazon. Okay, so, and Sherry said they're about $5 $5 for 2 at her Starbucks too. Okay, so that was the first thing I found, and so far mine are about $1 for 2. So 2 for $1 versus 2 for $5. Okay, plus I do not spend another $3 to $5 on a coffee while I'm there. Okay, I have coffee here that is already paid for. Okay, second thing, there was a big debate about, whether to mix in, to do your mix-ins before you put them in the silicone cup or after. Okay, I found that doing whatever you're going to do with your eggs, I found that going ahead and putting that into the silicone cups, and let me show you what this, because some of you may be going, what are silicone cups? Okay, the silicone cups are like this. Some of you all may have these, but I found that adding, let me get it split over here. So I found that putting the egg mixture in the silicone cups first, that, and then adding the toppings, I found that to be easier. We are not going to actually make these tonight. I've already made them. I just wanted to talk about my findings on this, and then I promise I will do another video actually making them, because trust me, I'll be making lots more of these. But I found mixing the eggs, putting them in the silicone cups, then adding the ingredients, that worked best for me. Do you all have any opinions on that? So those of you who literally just said that you just made them, did you all mix in your add-ins with the eggs and pour them in the silicone cups, or did you do it the way I did it? Okay, so that was another thing I found. Then there was an even bigger debate. Well, first of all, I should have said this. I visited many websites. I watched many videos. I consulted with several people who have eaten them, made them, like them, don't like them. One of the people I talked to just doesn't like them. So I've challenged myself to make a version that she will eat, because she was just like, yeah, I just don't like them. And I said, is it because they're $5? And she said, no, I just don't like them. But she likes eggs. Excuse me, it's not somebody that doesn't like eggs. So I've challenged myself to find a version of this that she will eat. She just doesn't like the Starbucks version. I purchased all the supplies. I'm ready. So I'm ready to test these, and I'm ready to go. So silicone cups, a definite. Price, even after you've invested in these, a definite. I found mixing in the add-ins after I mixed the eggs was best for me. That has worked the best for me. Then the next big debate was the mixing method. Okay, this was an even bigger debate than the add-in, the mix-ins before or after. So from everyone that I talked to, all the websites that I visit, all the videos that I watched, there were a handful of people that were like, you have to use an immersion blender. You have to, because that's going to make them fluffy and they're going to fluff way up. Okay, so there was the have to use the immersion blender people. Then there were the, oh my gosh, do not use an immersion blender or a blender, or you've over fluffed it and they're going to have a weird texture. There were those people. So, some on each side. Then there were the blender people, but not immersion blender people. So people who said to use a blender, like you would make a smoothie in or something like that. There were those people, and just as many people who wanted to use a blender. There were that many people who said absolutely don't use a blender. Then there were the fork people, and the whisk people, and the food processor people. Okay, I did not find the immersion blender version. I didn't find it any fluffier. Okay, the fork, it was fine. I mean, it was fine. It was more like making scrambled eggs. They weren't quite as fluffy, but I didn't find the immersion blender to be any fluffier. I did not try a regular blender, and I did not try a food processor. But the immersion blender versus fork versus whisk, I chose the whisk. I've been whisking. So that also, I think, is a reason that I found it worked better for me if I do the eggs first, because you're whisking. Well, if these weren't dirty, I'd pull them back out. But you're whisking the eggs and anything else, liquids that you put in with the eggs, you're whisking all of that first, putting it in here, and then putting your solids in. So I think that's why I like that version better. And I seriously am curious. So you seasoned egg bite people, how do you all mix yours? Are you using a fork? Are you using a whisk? Are you using the blender, an immersion blender? How are you all mixing yours? Okay, the next one. This one I'm still working on, okay? This is a work in progress. Cooking time and temperature. So as soon as I perfect my method, I will do a separate video, because I'm still working on the cooking thing. What I can say is a couple of the recipes that I found online said to cook on low. Some of them said to cook on high. The one that's on the official Instant Pot website says to cook on steam. I did not try that, okay? Let's see. Debbie uses foil over them, and she does use the immersion or the blender. Are they fluffier? Did you find them fluffier, Debbie, when you did that? But anyway, so I found some versions that were low temp that were on. So we're talking about, let me turn it around here. So we're talking about making these in an Instant Pot, which is, it's a pressure cooker. So some of the recipes I found said to do low pressure with a natural release. Some said to do low pressure with a fat quick release. Some said to do low pressure for less minutes, more minutes, high pressure, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was all over the planet. I will say when I did the low pressure version, they did still cook, but I had to increase the cooking time. Like I had to put them back in. And I'm going to show you all two different versions that I made before the chat started. Okay, so cooking time and temp, I'm still working on, but I did have to add more time on the low. If I'm going to do it on low, I had to add more time. I also did figure out when you get all that programmed in, you actually have to hit start or they don't cook at all. I don't know if y'all knew that or not, but just going through all the gyrations and talking to somebody at the same time while you're trying to do all this, if you don't push start, they won't cook at all. Okay, just a heads up. Just a heads up to let you know. Let's see. Lynn says fork and mixing the add-ins seems to work better for her in the mini containers. Ooh, and Debbie says, but I like mine cooked in the air fryer because she likes the crispier edges. So you're saying I should have done an air fryer versus an Instant Pot test on this? So Debbie, you're going to have to tell me, how do you do them in the air fryer? And I'll do that next. I'm on board. I still have 8 eggs left. I'm happy to do that. Okay, not tonight, but I'm happy to do that. Okay, to spray or not to spray. So because these are silicone cups, spray them. Even though they're silicone, should be able to pop out easier, spray them. They came out so much prettier and so much easier sprayed. So to spray or not to spray, I'm gonna say spray. Okay, the next thing was double stacking. So they can, let me take this one out and show you. And this is cool, so do not take this out of your Instant Pot when it's fresh, okay? Don't make it hot. So double stacking, some people, let me put the top on this one. And I'm going to talk about the tops in a second. So do not, yeah, and Debbie said she's gotten distracted before and not actually hit start. That was like, I was like 15 minutes later, I was like, why is this thing not doing anything? And I went, did not hit start. Okay. So don't fuss about the lid yet if you do this, okay? So there was a debate on stacking them straight up and down. Do you see what I'm saying? Like even, like all the little bumps line up. And you want to put it on something like this. This was the metal one. I probably am going to go ahead and get a silicone one just because it seems like it would be cooler to the touch. And I don't like that scratchy sound from the metal one. But there was, ooh, and Sandra does hers in the air fryer in small oven-proof cups. Okay, deets. We need details, Sandra. So when you stack them and put them on here, you can do 2 at the same time. And these silicone cups have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7. I never noticed that. It's 7 little cups. It's an odd number, which is odd. But so some said just to stack them like this if you're cooking 2 at the same time. I did find that if you turn them like this, so can you all see that? It's like they're like offset from each other. I did find that if you turn them like that, if you're going to double stack them, I found that if you turn them off center from each other, I don't know why that works. I cannot explain why that works, but I found if you turn them like that, it works better. Then you can do 2, you can stack 2 at the same time. Okay, so That was something that I found. So if you all are double stacking them, are you all straight up and down, or are you offsetting them? Because seriously, I want your all's feedback too. Okay, then the next thing was using the cover. Okay, I just said don't fuss at me if you just saw the covers that I put on here. So these are silicone. Y'all should know by now what silicone is. Okay, not all silicone cups have a silicone lid. This one, and I'm shocked nobody fussed at me about this. Corrine, I'm going to show you in a few minutes. So this one is a hard plastic lid, and I am shocked no one fussed about that when I took it off a second ago. This one is a silicone lid. So see how floppy that is? That's a silicone lid. This silicone lid, they're not all equal, okay? This silicone lid is okay to use in the Instant Pot. This hard lid, you will ruin it if you use it in the Instant Pot on that high pressure. Debbie puts aluminum foil on the top of hers. That's totally fine. A lot of the people that I saw, and these are so juicy, they're like leaking all over the countertop. A lot of people I saw do use aluminum foil on the top. Perfectly fine. So remember, this hard plastic lid, no, do not put that in your Instant Pot. Soft silicone lid, okay to go. Okay, so that was a question. This next one, hold on. Cottage cheese is mandatory. Several of the websites said, oh, you have to use cottage cheese. If you're going to get a perfect Starbucks egg cup, they weren't quite as aggressive as I'm making it sound, but it felt like it. It felt like they were attacking me, because they all should know, even though they don't know me and they don't follow me, they should know how much I dislike cottage cheese. And all you naysayers, quit selling me on, sorry, Debbie, quit selling me on your, oh, cottage cheese is going to melt, you'll never taste it, whatever. I'll just try to figure out a way to not use cottage cheese. And I'm going to show you two different ones here, and I'm going to hurry you through this last part so I can show them to you. So cottage cheese is not mandatory. I'm just here to tell you, you do not have to use cottage cheese. So none of that cottage cheese tomfoolery, I'm not falling for it. If you do like cottage cheese though, those of you who like cottage cheese, please feel free to share with each other how they turn out with cottage cheese, and y'all just enjoy your egg bites over there and don't invite me over, okay? So just enjoy them over there. Just take your little, make your little cottage cheese area over there, okay? But that was one thing I wanted to prove, because I needed, yeah, I still love you too, Debbie. I needed to know that I did not have to do cottage cheese, because a couple of these websites were like, you have to have it. Okay, baking powder. I saw a handful of websites that said baking powder, a handful of websites that said baking powder. The majority of them didn't mention it. So I'm going to show you the differences here in just a second. And then cooking other ingredients first. So that was one thing that I wanted to figure out. I found that it was only necessary to pre-cook those add-in. Remember I was talking about add-in ingredients? So I'm not talking about the eggs. Oh, Debbie says cream of tartar. I didn't try that. But I'm not talking about eggs. I'm talking about things like bacon or chicken, if you wanted to add something, like chicken to your eggs. Or if it was a tougher veggie like a pepper, or something like that. If it's something like that, please, if it's meat, if it's uncooked meat, please do myself and yourself a favor and cook those first before you add them to your egg bites. I know you're going to be cooking in here, but please just go ahead and cook those first. Kind of tougher vegetables like peppers, things like that. You can just saute them. So you could technically saute them in here first, dump out that water, kind of clean that out, and then you could make your egg bites. Okay, so I'm going to show you the two that I made today. And Christine that was here working with me today, she was like, well, is this going to be supper? Can I eat it when we're done? And I was like, if you want to eat it at 9 o'clock, sure. So, Sarah says it froze. And I was like, if you want to eat it at 9 o'clock, and switch. Oh, am I back? I'm back, I'm hoping. Hopefully. Okay, hopefully a bunch of y'all will come right back on, because, so I don't know what happened. We're not having any bad weather. There's no wreck out here or anything. No, I'm back, Sarah, I'm back. So anyway, I don't know what happened. So let's go ahead and finish this. Actually, that was the suspense. So I did that on purpose. I made the internet go out on purpose to keep you all in suspense. Just kidding. And hello, Lisa. I don't think I saw you when you came in. Okay, so let's try these real quick just so you'll know. Blue is no cottage cheese. no cottage cheese, and they do have baking powder in them. Pink is cream cheese and no baking powder, okay? Outside of that, almost everything else is the same. So I did eggs, and again, I'll do another video for this because we don't have time to go through this whole thing, but I did eggs, baking powder, a little bit of water, and did my mixing ingredients. This one is eggs, cream cheese, not cottage cheese. I also heard you can do ricotta cheese, but I haven't tried it yet. So this side is eggs, cream cheese, and the same add-ins. Okay, this is what they look like. Who was it that asked what they look like when they come out? I don't remember who it was that asked. And if you have a little tiny spatula, that works better. Okay, so same ingredients. That one has no cottage cheese, but it does have cream cheese. This one, oh, and these were cooked on low pressure for, I ended up having to do 8, 9, 10, 11, for 11 minutes, and then quick release, then a quick release on the pressure. These were cream cheese. Check that out. Baking powder, no baking powder, no, Dusty's like, the eggs, give me the eggs. Everything else is the same. So baking powder, cream cheese. Outside of that, everything else is the same. I'm thinking cream cheese is the answer. Okay, and let's try one real quick. So this is the baking powder, a little bit of water, otherwise same ingredients. Still very delicious. I did a little bit of diced ham, tomatoes, zucchini, oh, and some mushrooms. Okay, and then this one, look how big that is. This is the one with the cream cheese, and then it has the same add-ins. And Carol Lou said, did I use my fat-free yogurt cream cheese, which is a whole nother video? Yes, Carol Lou. Thank you for leading in with that. Yes, I did. Look at that. So, y'all know what I'm going to be having for supper. The rest of these, Sarah says she bets it would be good with ricotta too. I think it really will be too. I have not tried that one yet. But again, still playing with the times and temperatures. This one was done on high. This one was done on low. I'm sticking with high. So far, all of mine done on high have turned out this fluffy. All of mine done with cream cheese have turned out this fluffy. All of the ones with baking soda have been pretty fluffy. They've been fluffy without, I mean, that's still pretty fluffy. That is still pretty fluffy. All without cottage cheese, but again, if you love cottage cheese, go ahead and knock yourself out. Enjoy, don't let me stand in your way. Quick reminders, no hard plastic. Yes, silicone. Yes, turning them a different way. Yes, always remember to put water in here. I'm shocked Debbie didn't say that. Please do not forget to put the water in your Instant Pot before you get all this started. But as soon as I finish perfecting this, which I think I'm pretty darn close, I'm going to try it with some ricotta, just see how I feel about it, you know, against the cream cheese. But that fat-free cream cheese really, really helps with the points, because the fat-free cream cheese, if you'll go back and watch my how to make fat-free cream cheese video, and you can check that out on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, 0 points for my fat-free cream cheese. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you will try this and let me know how it works for you. Yeah, Corrine says he's never had them before, and she is going to have, she has a new recipe to try for tomorrow. Yeah, that is my whole point of being here. And John is gross. He says, good night, everyone. Love cottage cheese. So I'm not going to make these for you with cottage cheese. I'll make you some with the cream cheese. But good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. If you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to let that next video roll over. And and please, 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 please subscribe. YouTube's doing some weird things with their algorithm and with their numbers, and so it's just depressing. But anyway, so please click that little button and go ahead and subscribe. If you feel so inclined after we are done, you can still give stars. And remember, stars help to pay for all of these things that I get, because I spend a ton of money. Don't tell John, who I hope has already clicked off. but I spend a ton of money on this. But I love doing it, and I love doing this for y'all. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed, and y'all have an amazing evening, and I will see you next week. Good night.